What's up, boys and girls? Happy Thursday, October 21st, 2021. Man, we've got only 3 games tonight, but what a night last night was. So, chat, how we doing, man? I'm very, very curious to know how you guys made out last night, because there was some wobbly, wonky, crazy scores. A lot of it that I was on, and then a couple of guys that were never on my radar. So we'll talk about a couple of those guys, but this is an opportunity to be a little bit more laid back, Cadillac Jack, with just 3 games with a late lock. So it's just gonna be me vibing with you guys for however long you guys want. I don't have any other obligations today other than the pre-lock voice chat. Little NFL showdown action tonight. Who doesn't want to watch the Broncos and the Browns? It's gonna be great. What's up? What's up, Blaze? NBA 2K. What up, Lorenza? Swishamart, Pinstripe Pimp, Darian, Mia Moore, Dang Lazy Mofo. You know it's rough when there be hot takes today on people like George Hill. Oof. What up, Brody? What up, Darian? $13 cash 20. Yo, Darian, I thought you were busy during the daytime, bro. You ducking me, bro? Is that is that what's happening? I'm trying to put you on, and you're not. What up, Logan? How we doing? You guys all right today? How we do last night? Some crazy scores. Crazy scores. Jaylen Brown. I was very, very, very hesitant to even go near him with the suspicion on his conditioning because of the big Rona. And my man left the planet. 76 and a quarter fantasy points on DraftKings. Led the entire slate. 46 minutes played. Obviously, they went a little longer, but in regulation, he smashed his $8,100 price tag on DraftKings anyway. So, yeah, if you guys had some of that, good on you. Julius Randle, I did have a nice hunkering of Julius Randle. LaMelo Ball, those were your second and third highest scores. And then Harrison Barnes, Harrison Barnes at 36 real points. My man connected for 8 threes against the Portland Trail Blazers with 9 boards. Insane game from him. And then Evan Fournier also benefited from a little bit of extra minutes in that game. 44 minutes played, 56 fantasy points. So yeah, I had a decent chunk of the top 10 scorers, but like I said, a couple guys fell through the cracks, and then there were some trendy guys that really fell flat. Fred VanVleet comes to mind instantly, and a couple of the chalkier value plays weren't groundbreaking, right? They didn't get you the 9-10x like you really need on these big slates. So a lot of crazy scoring. I also had a big stance on Joel Embiid, and a little bit of a lopsided game ended up burning me. He only got 26 minutes of action, and in those 26 minutes, he dropped 41.5 fantasy points. So if he got his normal opportunity at 30, maybe even 32, 33 minutes, that 40 probably turns into 55, almost 60, right? So unfortunate there, but what are you going to do? There's always tomorrow until there's not. And today, 3 games on the docket, couple of teams playing their second game of the season, and a couple of teams playing their first game of the season. And then it wouldn't be NBA without news you can use, right? Just yesterday, I had Drew Holiday listed as probable, and this morning, wake up, see he got ruled out. We also see that Brook Lopez got ruled out, and it's just game 2. So we're going to be reacting to that news. We're going to be trying to maybe find out who benefits in their absence, because the Bucks already had several guys not playing for this game anyway. DiVincenzo, Bobby Portis, guys like that. So we're going to try and piece the strings together, and also dealing with a 3-game slate. We know we're going to be working with higher ownership anyway, just because there's less options. But like I said, we got time today to vibe a little bit. So I said it on my video this morning, man. If you guys had any tilt or any questions, comments, concerns, man, today we got a little bit more time to spend some time on it. Yesterday I kind of had a rush to finish because we had other obligations. Blaze says went positive, increased bankroll 25%. Hey man, keep going up. I like that. So like, if you are new to NBA DFS, I mean, these first 3 slates are really rough to settle as the norm, right? First of all, first couple games of the season, inefficient pricing. We don't actually know rotations for teams. There's always outlier performances that we have to, in the moment, ask ourselves: is that real? Is that fake? Obviously, guys like Harrison Barnes not expected to be 30 plus point per game scorers. Yeah, there was no Marvin Bagley, so there is some opportunity for minutes there, but we have to piece apart what's real, what's fake, what the usage and the roles and the rotations for teams with some of these trades, some of these rookies on their bench or in their starting lineup are, and then as we catch up to that, stuff will start to normalize. And then on top of that, the first three slates are really small, really big, really small, right? The 5, 6 to 8 game slates, those are kind of the middle ground slates where a lot of us in this community really prefer, because it's not overwhelming like an 11 game slate can get, and then we're not dealing with massive amounts of ownerships like the 2 game, 3 game slates can get. So whatever your results have been thus far, whether good or negative, just know it's probably not the norm yet, right? It's a very difficult grind that is NBA DFS, but it's a fun grind, and it's something that really spices up our passion for the sport. So just wanted to kind of get that out there. I've had a couple of questions about like bankroll management and what contests people should be playing, and I don't like the fluff answers. If one, I don't feel like I'm qualified. Like I'm not really qualified to speak on cash games anymore because I don't play cash games, and I haven't for over 3 years. And then right now, like last night, Fanduel lineups just felt so bad for me pre-flop because I didn't love the pricing. The new multi-position eligibility is really messing with my mind, right? I've pretty much memorize who's at what position on DraftKings, and then Fanduel will have some guys that are also multi-position eligible, but different positions and multiple of them. Like Tyus Jones was like power forward eligible yesterday. I'm just like, what? And then some guys, instead of being guard, small forward, they're small forward, power forward. So it's really kind of hard to at this stage play all the sites, and I'm kind of falling in like, not love, with Yahoo. Yahoo has a lot of user experience stuff they can improve upon, but I do like kind of the line of construction I've been able to do over there the last couple days, and it's a whole new world in terms of pricing and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of on a ramble here. Brandon Bostonite, yo, okay. What up, Julian? Yo, it's my last pick. Would you take Luka or Curry? Well, I have Luka projected to be the highest raw point scorer at last glance, so I guess like the projection, the mathematical answer here is probably Luka. But like I said, I'm a huge advocate for Steph Curry here. I mean, between the studs today, it is what it is, right? If you get Luka, you get Giannis, you get Steph Curry, like those guys are gonna sink or swim as their team sinks or swims. I don't really think I would sweat that pick too much, but I probably lean a little bit more towards Luka, just because my projection likes him a little bit more if salary wasn't a thing. But I'm fine with Steph. We don't expect Steph to average a triple double though, right? Where's Raj at? I don't think that Raj would be. I don't think I fired Raj. I'm sorry, guys. No, Raj, small slates. You're probably not going to expect Raj on a lot of these small slates. So we don't need him. After that Raptors game, Raj might be somewhere crying, holding on to his Lowry poster. Brah. Kyle Kuzma had 15 rebounds, bro. How does that even happen? Like, what? I did clown Raj a lot yesterday, so I guess he had to go count his L's, man. My man was out here trying to get behind Lou Dort. He was out here. He literally told me Spencer Dinwiddie's going to be a borderline all-star, and I was just like, bro, you were saying some really steaming hot takes. I mean, they were bad, and I had to put him in his place. So like, there's just no shot. And then yeah, the Raptors looked horrendous, right? Maybe the Wizards are going to be better. But I mean, they've been perennially one of the worst defenses in the league. Didn't look like they made massive strides forward, and the Raptors came out and scored just 83 real points on them. And from a fantasy perspective, only OG Anunoby scored over 26 fantasy points. Everyone else, 26 or less. Fred VanVleet, 26.75 DKP. Scotty Barnes, super popular play, 23.75 DKP, which really was not that useful to your lineups at the end of the day, because, you know, on these big slates, you're going to want your value plays to hit that 8, 9, 10x, and with pricing as soft as it is early on, you know, the 10x is a little bit more of a requirement. So that also just might be the fact that the Raptors, I don't know. Again, I don't want to underreact to one game sample size, but my goodness, that's a tough, right? Drake might have to move back to Houston. Not that they look good either last night. Oh man. Anyway, guys, I guess we can talk some basketball tonight. I'll pop open the windows here. Like I said, just 3 games tonight. We are reacting to some news, so we're gonna go a little bit slower than usual, trying to catch up on some of the information and maybe talk through some game theory. I am ready for a nice medium-sized slate, but we are all being dealt from the same deck of cards. So hopefully we can come up with some sharper takes and some sharper picks to separate us from the field. Looking at the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Is that too big? I might have to minimize it a little bit. Yeah, you know the drill. You can see it. It's good. It's good. Tonight, late lock, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Dallas Mavericks is our first game against the Atlanta Hawks. We've got a projected starting lineup of Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, Kristaps Porzingis, and Dwight Powell taking on Trae Young, Bogdan Bogdanovic, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella. Holy cow! The text. The font text in chat is way too big. I'm going to have to go fix that real quick. But this is a 225.5 total, 2.5 point spread in favor of the Atlanta Hawks. And we know Luka and Trae Young, they like playing each other. And I was looking, first glance at this slate, I thought that some ownership would push towards the Clippers and the Steph Curry game, late night hammer-ish, and it looks like that's kind of the case. And then with that midday Milwaukee Bucks news, more attention is going to be focused on Giannis Antetokounmpo. His usage is going to be sky high. So I do think like maybe this game, even though it's the first game, might come in a little bit lower own than anticipated, which makes Trae Young versus Luka pretty fun. We can pull up some stat muse here, maybe find some history between the two, but in the last couple seasons, when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, I tend to just look at Luka and Porzingis if they're both healthy, and then I won't get too deep into reaching around them. But I hope Damron's not watching. I won't get too deep into grabbing other players from the Mavs here, but on a 3-game slate, maybe we have to consider a little bit more than we normally would. Tim Hardaway Jr.'s 5K price point on Fanduel is peculiar. I do think, on a 3-game slate, I can live with the 5x range a little bit more comfortably than a bigger slate. So if I thought 25 to 35 was a solid window for him, I would take it. Right now, projections only on the 25 side of things. So I would like that median projection to be a little bit higher. But there's a world where Tim Hardaway at 5K satisfies a price point there. And then the center situation for the Mavs is pretty cluttered. Dwight Powell, Willie Cauley-Stein. They also picked up Moses Brown. I don't know if Moses Brown will be in the rotation, but we'll see. Maxi Kleber still in the mix, and they also have Boban still in the lineup. So there's a log jam at center. So the focus for me is going to be Luka Porzingis on the Mavs side, and then I might get to a little bit of some Hardaway, and then I also was able to put a decent chunk of minutes behind Reggie Bullock, and at 4K maybe he sneaks into a 20 bomb. On the Hawks side, Collins and Capella. This was something I was a little bit interested in looking up, and I figured I'd do most of the research on the stream today. That way, one, we could fill some time, and two, maybe we can share some processes. So I'm going to be using the NBA Wowie tool over at Add More Funds. If you guys want to use this tool as well, I think it's exclamation point AMF. There it is. You guys can grab it, and it's pretty cool. You set your own filters. I right now am only going to be interested in looking up usage, rebound rates, assist percentages, and then the fantasy points per minute. So let's go last year and let's look at the Atlanta Hawks. I really am interested to see in how John Collins and Clint Capella coexisted. So I'm going to put Trey, Collins, and Capella on the court at the same time. And I don't think there's a need to take anyone off. Obviously, there's going to be some moving variables here, but I'm going to go with that. As this, you said, damn, I sound like Danielle because I wasn't paying attention. Danielle's never paying attention. What up, Solo DZ? Doing all right today? Looks like last year when those three were on the court together, John Collins suffered the most, under a fantasy point per minute, and then Trae Young and Clint Capella over 1.2 fantasy points per minute, and the rebound rate was really, really strong for Clint Capella at 30%. So I guess I'll let that be my lean here, and then of course we did get news that Danilo Gallinari is not going to play this game for the Hawks. We got a questionable tag on Lou Williams, and Okongwu's out. So I think we can be somewhat safe in a minute projection for Collins and Capella to be around the 30-minute area. And I do think Capella gives us some room for upside at the 7.6, 7.2K range. Looking for a poor man's double-double. He's going to have to be fed his points, but plenty of rebound potential, plenty of block potential. Averaged 2 blocks per game last year. So I don't mind putting those two in the pool. They're not going to be my favorite options at center and forward, but I do think there's at least a world where they can all coexist at these prices, right? Someone stackable between Trey, Collins, and Capella, and then Bogdanovich being around 6K with the Lou Williams news pending. I think Bogdan is a guy that we've seen be a point per minute performer. I would love the minutes to get over my 28 minute projection that I'm sitting on right now. If it does, I might get to a little bit more of them. I think at 6K, I'm going to taper my expectations from a median projection. Right now, just under a point per minute. So I won't prioritize him, but in my tier 3s, he's going to reside there. And then Kevin Huerter, the opening night, I talked about Patty Mills, and maybe I can run this 6-man of the year Vegas odds search so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But on opening night, when I was getting behind Patty Mills, I saw that just Jordan Clarkson had better odds in a way than Patty Mills to be 6-man of the year. Well, the guy that was tied with Patty Mills was Kevin Huerter. So could be a sign that, the Sharps expect Kevin Huerter to be a strong contributor for this Hawks offense. And if he's going to lead that second unit, if Gallo's going to be out tonight, which he is, and if Lou Williams going to be limited or even out, it could be a fun spot to sign up for 5K Kevin Huerter on Fanduel. I got him at 26 minutes right now. My projection didn't come back anything stellar, but on a 3-game slate, man, some of these guys will outlier their projection and be the key here. And I think if Kevin Huerter comes in at a soft enough projection, I'm willing kind of to take that gamble, right? I would probably imagine Tim Hardaway Jr. at 5K grabs more ownership than Kevin Huerter at 5K, and that's just kind of that pivot area I'm willing to look at. So something I'm keeping in mind there. Again, Trae Young, when you put him on the board next to the big dogs on the slate, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, Paul George, and even Luka, it feels like Trae Young would be kind of the lowest priority, but Trae Young does have the potential to come out here, have a double-double with assist, and just go bananas from behind the arc. Curious to see how Luka and Trae have performed against each other. DKP by game log versus Trae Young. Let's go last 5 games. What up, Smeezy? 60, 60, 50 his last couple games, 37, 38, 35 minutes. Maybe the minutes there are not, or maybe they're a little bit more than what you might expect from him on opening night. But the production's there. And then Trae Young, DKP by game log versus Luka Doncic. Let's go last 5 games on that. Run it back. Trae dropped 62, 41, 44, and 49. Did that last game go to OT? They both put up really big numbers and really big minutes. So I just want to, 42 minutes. Like that, there's no shot that was in regulation. So it must have been somebody out. But you see, the more median projection for Trae Young is closer to 45 than 60. So yeah, Trae Young's probably going to be the least prioritized high ceiling guy on the slate. So do with that as you may. It makes a lot of sense. The Hawks do have a lot of mouths to feed. They're pretty balanced and spread out. But yeah, give me Luka. And then Kristaps Porzingis, 7K on Fanduel, 7,100 on DraftKings. As long as this guy's healthy, he can be a problem. Average 20 and 9 and over a block per game. I mean, if he meets his average in this spot, 40 fantasy points on the nose would be just fine for me at 7K. Fills a role on both sites, and then on FanDuel, a site that will reward blocks a little bit more, maybe even more of a viable, lucrative pick there. But like I said, Dallas front court could have a logjam depending on how they want to distribute their minutes. It feels like they're going to have to just leave a guy or two out of the rotation from that front court before long, right? What up, Dave Jones? Hey, Gun, what are your big GPP tournament picks on DraftKings? Center, power forward, and shooting guard. And then what's up, Gun? No Moses Brown love. So I think Moses Brown in and of himself, we saw him break some slates with the Thunder. I think my issue with Moses Brown is I don't know if he's the backup center or like not in the rotation, right? There's any which way you could see that play out, because they have Powell, they have Willie Cauley-Stein, they have Moses Brown, they have Maxi Kleber, Kristaps Porzingis. So I just don't know what to put as a minute projection on him. He seems like he's young and has a potential future as a starter. But yeah, right now I think there's at least a chance he's not even in the rotation. So I guess if you got that feeling in your bad knee that he might be a sneaky play, go for it. But it just seems like they got a lot of mouths to feed in that front court. What up, Josh? Let me get to Dave's question here. What are your big tournament picks on DraftKings? Center, power forward, and shooting guard. So it feels like center right now is probably going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo for most, right? That information with Brook Lopez out and them also having Bobby Portis out, you might expect Giannis Antetokounmpo to kind of stretch out and play a little bit more in the paint. Adebayo 76, Capella 72, like they're fine points per dollar. I'm not expecting them to hit their ceiling more often than they hit their median or just under their median. And then I'll probably be going a little bit more value hunting at the center spot today. And a guy that I'm leaning on a lot is Ivica Zubac. I like his FanDuel price a little bit more, but a 5K on DraftKings, if you can get him closer to 30 minutes, he's a guy that can be a point per minute producer. And against the Golden State Warriors front court, like he should be just fine to absorb rebounds and other peripherals. And I think he's really good production wise. And then Nemanja Bjelica, I talked about on the video this morning. He closed out that last game against the Lakers. They were really happy with his production in the preseason. And this is the guy that, he was MVP overseas, and he's just been kind of stashed and hidden in the league. And he's pretty doggone talented. So while James Wiseman continues to be out, and while they're pretty short in their front court, and I don't know what the status is on Draymond and Wiggins in terms of their conditioning limit, it seems like Nemanja Bjelica has a right to be pretty useful off the bench. If we gotta look at that NBA rotation from the other night, you see that Bielisa, I mentioned he closed that game out, right? Yeah, he played a couple minutes at the end of the third, closed out the entire fourth, and they just went away from Kevin Looney. So if they learn something, in the thick of it, that Bielisa is more valuable to their offense, then I'm fine with leaning on some Bielisa today. Because it is game two, you might see some more point chasing being done than I would like, right? I would like to keep getting Bielisa at a decent ownership, but if it seems like on these slates, the obvious value plays will be chalk, Bielisa, Jordan Nwora as the point chase options, and then with Brooke Lopez out, with Bobby Portis out, I don't know how to say his name, but um, this cat, he didn't get much run in that opening night, but the Nets don't really force you to play big, right? That Heat front court can be a little bit larger, so you do wonder if there's a world where we can put some minutes on bare bones min price. Mamu Kelashvili, right? I really should have researched that name, but the thought just kind of struck me. I put him at 10 minutes for now, but that's like, at bare bones min price in like big fill tournaments, it wouldn't take but a couple fouls early on. And if they needed some size, looking at this Heat lineup, they're a lineup that has some size. So maybe there's a world in deep field tournaments where you take a 3K min price dart throw on him to get his number called. But I don't know. We don't know exactly what to expect from him, even if he were to come out and get some minutes. It's not like it's a massive positive matchup against Bam Adebayo, right? Really tough matchup. So if I had to rank three centers for you in terms of favorite tournament plays, it's probably going to be Giannis as the number one center, then Ivica Zubac, points per dollar, and then Bielisa. But I'm fine with Clint Capella, and I probably lean Capella over Adebayo right now. For some block upside, I'm gonna look at Adebayo in just a minute, trying to gauge how impactful he will be for fantasy, sharing the court with Butler and Kyle Lowry. That's two steps backwards, but a guy like PJ Tucker, that's a step forward because Tucker's not going to be contributing to that offense much at all. So, what was other parts of that question? Kind of got on a ramble. Power forward, shooting guard. So power forward's kind of the same. Shooting guard's a great question for DraftKings' sake. Let's pop open DK again. Did discuss Herder potentially. Jordan Poole. I went over the field's at on Jordan Poole. Didn't crush this price point, but he was insanely owned on opening night. And then Grayson Allen, I felt like he benefited when Drew Holiday went down. So when I saw Drew Holiday was probable, I was able to dismiss it. But now Drew Holiday's back out. Grayson Allen might pick up some usage and probably pick up a lot of steam. So Grayson Allen's probably going to be somebody you lean towards a lot as a top guard to target. What up, Shane? What up, Josh? A bunch of Joshes. Zubac and Hartenstein, great plays. You like Hartenstein? I don't mind that. What up, Louie? Great to have NBA. I mean, it's great to have you back. Told you about Bielisa. Bielisa, maybe some money, man. I told that story the other night, but I had some live lineups on Yahoo, and in the util spot was Kent Bazemore, and I was just like, you know what? I feel like Bazemore is going to be decently owned, and I was openly debating him versus Bielisa. I even tweeted about it. Ended up going Bielisa. Anyway, so that's the Mavs at the Hawks game. If you guys got some sharp hot takes about who you're really liking from this game, so be sure to share it with the class. Maybe attach a reason to it. Bucks against the Heat. Next game on the docket. Project starting five for the Bucks: George Hill, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton, Jordan Nwora, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Up against Kyle Lowry making his Miami Heat debut. Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G buckets, and the G stands for gets. PJ Tucker and Bam Adebayo, 224 total here, 1.5 point spread for the home team Miami Heat. So considering no starting point guard in Drew Holiday, no starting center, the fact that they came in as just 1.5 point favorites, what does that say about Giannis Antetokounmpo? Let me double check, make sure that line hasn't moved, but that feels somewhat surprising. Miami, 2 point favorite. So I guess it's a 2 to 3 point swing depending on where you look at it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go look at let's do some on-off court tool stuff with NBA Wowie again. I don't know why I refreshed it. I guess I could have just clicked the Milwaukee team here. I can't figure out why DeLon Wright is 7K. Does he have that big of a role? I think 7K is a little bit bullish, and that's probably a great example of inefficient pricing from site to site. Maybe they hung on to his production in minutes from his previous situation versus this year because he's only 4,600 on FanDuel. I definitely think 7K probably takes him out of the mix for me. Even if you told me Lou Williams is out, like I don't think his median projection is even close to satisfying 7K, and you could even argue his ceiling is barely hitting value at that. So in this situation, yeah, I wouldn't. That probably gets DeLon Wright completely out the mix for me. Anyway, let's go back to that on-off court tool. We're gonna put Giannis Antetokounmpo on, and we're gonna take off Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez. So one thing I do wonder is that's off. I wonder about their defensive efficiency going backwards. Brolo, also a different archetype of center than I think any of their backups are, unless Giannis stretches out a little bit more. Giannis did chuck some threes. His jumper was looking lit. But Brolo is a different style of center, right? He'll stretch to behind the arc and chuck some threes and space out a little bit more. The more traditional center, looking at their bench, will probably play more so in the paint. Drew Holiday. I took off Portis as well, but Drew Holiday and then Brook Lopez as well. Let's run it. Be careful on their minutes. Reggie and Paul George, maybe, but we heard that same stuff with like Wiggins and Draymond, and they got 30 minutes. I'll take 30 minutes. It is what it is. 118 minutes, not a ton of sample size here. Giannis 35% usage rate, 37.5% assist rate, 1.7 DKP per minute. Same on the FanDuel side of things. Now this Heat team, the names involved feel like they should be a tougher defense, right? Adebayo, Tucker, Butler. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, borderline matchup proof, and 10.3K is really not asking a lot for what we know his involvement is when everyone's in, but even more responsibility with those guys being out. I'm fine with getting to Giannis. I think I think my approach for this slate is going to be setting a core from the value guys and just kind of spinning the studs as it is. You guys know, as a multi-entry player, like the batch of lineups will just kind of be concentrated on game stacks, team stacks, stuff like that. So I don't want to lead you guys in the wrong direction in terms of where I'm leaning. But I do think Giannis is just fine, and the fact that Giannis is center eligible on DK is very, very convenient. So would probably somebody that gravitates towards a large ownership for me in my lineups at the center spot. But like I said, I do kind of like the mid tier as well. And then Chris Middleton, kind of the guy that I'm unsure about. Middleton averaging 0.8 fantasy points per minute in this split. Came in at 7.8K on FanDuel, 7,300 on DraftKings. Even a 40, I feel like if I sat out on a 40 and he got into some elevated ownership, I'm good with that. So I might think about going the other way on him if his ownership gets a little too crazy. I think the peak interest here for value is going to be Grayson Allen and Jordan Nwora. Nwora stayed under 4K, 3,700. Was already probably going to be a high owned play for me without Bobby Portis. He did work in that last game from a per minute basis, even going into the preseason. He was just really, really strong. My projection likes him a little too much, right? He's getting close to 40 fantasy point on my projection. I feel like I'm gonna have to manually adjust that. But no matter what, like I think on a 3-game slate, if he gets to 25, it's something I'm gonna be a buyer in. So Noir for me, and then Grayson Allen, I'm fine with that. The guy who did not thrive starting the second half in Drew Holiday's place was really George Hill, who's just kind of in existence. So Chad, I'm curious to see what are you guys doing with George Hill, if anything. It's fine if it's nothing, but he is cheap enough for a guy that might get significant minutes, opportunity at this price point. In his 23 minutes of work, he had 5 personal fouls, had a 7.9% usage rate with a -6 plus minus. Mind you, they won that game. He had 1 real point, 13 DKP. George Hill is George Hill, right? Is that going to be overblown? Like, are we going to overreact to him not doing well, or are we going to buy into the fact that, hey, he is almost min price? Probably going to get close to 30 minutes. How often does he exceed 20 to 25 here? I'm still on the low end no matter what. Like, I don't think my answer is ever going to get me excited to play George Hill. But is this dismissing him completely? Is that a little too lazy on this side slate? Maybe, maybe not. I think Pat Connaughton, also somebody that we should look at. I got him at 30 plus minutes right now off the bench. He's the only other guy outside of these starters that I got around the 30-minute projection. Remember, I do think we could get a little bit different in terms of projecting the center rotation. But Pat Connaughton, I like him quite a bit. Looking at that opening night game, he played 29 minutes, had an 18% usage rate, 20 real points, 30 plus DKP. So if I had to pull 3 value plays from the Bucks, I think it's a little bit more trendy, but Grayson Allen, Wara, Pat Connaughton seem like the guys with the higher ceilings on a typical basis, and George Hill would be kind of the odd man out, gun to my head. But if no one's going to play George Hill, I might give a little bit, up to 5%, up to 6%, something like that, of just letting him fall in. Maybe he gets hot from 3, picks up some assists. So, yeah, what up, Gentry? Appreciate you. What up, Coach K? Do you think the Warriors can run Zubac out the game? It's possible, but I think we kind of question that with the Warriors a lot, and Zubac is a guy that we've seen just not get run out the game because they stay competitive with him. So I think it's possible, but I that's not something I'm projecting. Is Holiday out tonight? Yeah, Drew Holiday is out. He was listed as probable yesterday. So if you've been out all day working or something, it's kind of a surprise that he is out. But he and Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez are out. Any interest in Justice Winslow? Right now, no. But in deep field tournaments, anything is possible. But if you play Justice, he'll keep your wins low. I'm looking at playing both Giannis and Thanasis tonight. Thanasis min price on Fanduel. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, like, it's early in the season where I'm not going to push back, and the opportunity should be there. Especially, yeah, you got 12 minutes. A couple of those minutes were in, garbage time, the last couple minutes of the game. So you probably give him 8 minutes of regulation. Now, with Brook Lopez being out, could we still get 15 minutes out of him? Sure. But it's not a play that I would be too excited about. I'd really kind of focus on who was part of the plan during regulation. And I think in this situation, it feels like Giannis Antetokounmpo playing the 5 a little bit more than not. Even if he didn't start at the 5 in the game, like even if they threw out that backup center, or even Thanasis, I just don't have a high expectation for Thanasis minutes. So if you're on him, do you, boo-boo. But I don't know what his true ceiling is here. Yeah. Thoughts on Morris? Yo, Blaze, how do you got this check mark next to your name? I keep thinking you're like, are you official? Like, your name's coming across so different on my screen. Thoughts on Morris on the Clippers? Yeah, I'm gonna like him quite a bit. We're gonna move to that game. 70 viewers, only 15 likes. Yo, hit me that thumbs up. It's free. Even if you're another channel and you don't want to admit that you're watching me, that's fine. The anonymous thumbs up helps. It goes a long way, and I would appreciate it quite a bit. Clippers at the Golden State Warriors main event tonight. Reggie Jackson, Eric Bledsoe, Paul George, Marcus Morris, Ivica Zubac up against Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Kevin Looney. We got 227.5 total, 3.5 point spread in favor of the home team Golden State Warriors. Warriors looked pretty good opening night against the Lakers. Looking at the Clippers side this morning, I felt like the Clippers could be the most stackable team on the slate based on their pricing. We did see some. I saw some quote earlier. I think Dale dropped it in the Discord. That suggested that we might be dealing with a soft minutes cap for a couple of these Clippers players. So let me pull that up just so you guys know what we're talking about. Bring it to the main screen. By the way, if you're on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundecker. I guess this is a beat writer, verified beat writer, Andrew Grief. I guess the question was, will Marcus Morris be on a minutes limit in the opener? Ty Lue said the Clippers must, quote, be smart about everyone's workload, making sure Paul George and Reggie Jackson and those guys were not running them into the ground that first game, especially with the intensity and how hard Golden State plays. So I guess it's open for interpretation, but I guess there's a range of outcomes that maybe they're not going to play 35 minutes. However, you feel like a coach is going to say that about just about anyone in the first game of the season. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt and not get too turned off by some coach speak here. But price-wise, especially on the Fanduel side, it really feels like you can full stack Clippers with a decent chunk of confidence. $5K for Reggie Jackson. Yeah, you can give me that. Almost $10K on Paul George. Somebody that would need about 50 fantasy points on a normal night for me to feel like I'm getting a good deal. So I understand if there's any type of pushback, but without Kawhi Leonard, we've seen him be really, really good per minute. Marcus Morris, so no Nick Batum, he's out with personal reasons. No Serge Ibaka. Kawhi Leonard, like I said, is out. So I got pretty safe minute projections on these guys. So you can get a 3-man stack of the Clippers for a pretty cheap rate, right? Reggie, Paul George, and Marcus Morris. And then Ivica Zubac on FanDuel is borderline free. Like, that's going to easily be probably my highest owned player on FanDuel. Ivica Zubac is killing the projection for me at 4,200. So I like that quite a bit. And that's kind of where I'm standing there. Just means I have 100K subs on YouTube. Golly, need to whistle. 100K. You got one of those plaques? That's pretty cool, dude. Are you a 2K streamer? That's nuts, bro. Appreciate you. Hartenstein's the only backup center with Winslow playing some at the 5. To Justice Winslow. I guess Winslow can play all 5 positions if you needed him to. And against the Warriors with kind of positionless, no centers no centers, but not really a bunch of beef in the front court. Yeah, I guess he could get away with that. You'd probably see more Marcus Morris down there if you had to. How many minutes do you think Moses gets? So if you're talking about Moses Brown, I think it could be anywhere from 0 to 10. And if he is the next man up, it could be 15 to 18. I don't think I would get near 20, and that's probably what I'd want to feel good about putting him in my player pool. But man, I would probably reach out to some beat writers. Who's the beat writer for the Mavericks? Heck, I'll tweet at him on stream for you guys. But I just feel like the Mavs have a lot of mouths to feed in that front court. Potentially, I do think the logistical move is that a couple of those guys just aren't in the rotation. Boban, Willie Cauley-Stein, Moses Brown, Maxi Kleber, Kristaps Porzingis, Dwight Powell. They got a lot of bigs that could be part of a rotation, and it seems like everyone can't get minutes, right? So who is out, who's in? So I'm having a tough time confidently projecting Moses Brown for any minutes, much less a viable amount of minutes to introduce him into the player pool, I know the Nets aren't playing tonight, but what happened to Bruce Brown? Played 4 minutes. Is he load managing? I don't think Bruce Brown is really that good for them. They went Javon Carter a little bit more. Yeah, Bruce Brown's never really good. He's just been a guy that if he plays 35 minutes for the Detroit Pistons, he probably hits value, right? He's just, not a knock on him, but he doesn't. I don't know. He's a replacement level kind of guy, right? I wouldn't think they're missing out on much by not playing him, right? Might just be a gut feeling, but I think Kid loves that Moses Brown and KP duo. I mean, it's stuff like that this early. If you watch preseason, if you got that feeling in your bad knee with the storm of brewing, go for it. I guess I can Twitter search. When all else fails, I do like to Twitter search some players and kind of see if we see beat writers discussing it. I'm not gonna. I guess I probably shouldn't screen search it on the stream because you never know. You might catch a random image that'll get me banned. But yeah, I'm fine with that take. Like I definitely think Moses Brown. They didn't pick him up for nothing, right? I definitely think he should be a factor, should be part of that team's plans, and I do think Boban's probably a guy that isn't going to be in the rotation. Willie Cauley-Stein has been a guy that we've seen be sacrificed minute-wise when they were a little bit more healthy. And then Maxi Kleber has been a guy that gets minutes. So I feel like Kleber would kind of hang on to some minutes. And I would put Boban out and probably put Cauley-Stein pretty low. So I'm fine with hoping Moses Brown gets some work here, but I just want to stress that there is variance and volatility in him playing at all versus even playing 20 minutes. So, yeah. I just don't think they went out to get Moses to not play him. That's very fair. What up, Tyler? Bielisa going to play strong again off the bench tonight. I think per minute, Bielisa is a beast, a monster. Getting to a decent minute projection on him. If you think he gets run, play him. Like I said, they started with Kevin Looney and they closed with Bielisa. Bielisa played essentially the entire fourth quarter against the Lakers, and Kevin Looney did not. Nets game just to see how the new rotation with the stars. They already know what they have in Bruce Brown. Yeah, Bruce Brown's not really a thing. Like I know, I saw people outraged that Bruce Brown. I guess it's one of those fantasy impacts that like, oh my god, I have so much Bruce Brown and he didn't even start. Once he didn't start, you probably should not have played him. But I don't want to sound like that stuck up guy because I didn't have any Bruce Brown. We were in the voice chat in the RunDFS.com Discord, and I announced it. I said there was two guys that at their ownership I would be glad in going to Patty Mills over Bruce Brown, and I also was fading Grayson Allen that night as well, and that was before Drew Holiday was starting and all that. And then Grayson Allen kind of got there, but Bruce Brown was easily the guy that I would full fade when you told me on a 2-game slate he was going to be 50% owned. So I guess it worked out for me. I didn't expect him to not be part of the rotation, but I also just didn't expect him to be a tournament-winning type of play. Bledsoe has to start for Batum tonight. He was Clippers' backup point guard. Now the Clippers literally have one backup point guard. Boston, no play on Fanduel on DK. All right. He doesn't have to start tonight. He probably will, but I mean, they still got Luke Kennard. They got Terrence Mann. They got stuff they can do with the point guard situation. Paul George can run the point. So like I know you want Boston to be a surefire thing, and he might get some minutes. Who knows? But I think you're creating a must-play scenario, and I don't really think it's quite that. Can you show the Warriors minutes layout from the last game? Yeah, I got you, buddy. So again, we're going to use that NBA, the Add More Funds tool if you guys want to pop this open. Great thing to have as part of your daily resource. Add More Funds. And if you sign up with my link, it shows me a little bit of love. So we go pull up that Warriors rotation from game 1 against the Lakers. They ran out the projected starting lineup we're dealing with today. Kevin Looney was the starting center. He, like I said, he played normal minutes, but was shut down midway through the third. He had no fouls. It wasn't like, they were Steve Kerr had his hand forced. Nemanja Bjelica went out there, and he was just a problem. He was an impact player, and he was putting up points. So 25 minutes for Bjelica. If you play Bjelica, and in the third quarter he's only got 14 minutes, there could be a world where Looney is doing just fine, and they lean on him more. But if you read the tea leaves, watching the preseason, watching players react, I love that quote from Draymond about not knowing Bjelica could ball like that. Like I do think Bjelica is going to be part of this team's chemistry and their scheme going forward. So I'm fine with confidently playing Bielisa tonight, but he did have some stuff going his way late in that one. Might have missed it. What are you rocking with Jordan Nwora? Yeah, Nwora is hard to not get to at that price. Yeah, his ownership's probably going to be a little bit higher than opening night because of how good he was on opening night, and you need your value to get your studs and scrubs here today, but it's hard not to get a decent minute projection on him. And even though the matchup may not feel great, minutes equal money. And if you're going to be 3,700 on DraftKings at 30 plus minutes as a do it all kind of guy, in 20 lineups that's close to a lock button for me. So I'm rocking with it. I was very high on him on opening night. I have to throttle and govern my projection because on 32 minutes it spit back almost 40 fantasy points on my algorithm. That's a crazy projection, but at 3,700, I'd happily take, 25, 28. So it'd almost take, 60, 70% of what the projection is saying. So he'll definitely be one of my highest owned guys. Why did Damian Lee play the entire fourth quarter for the Warriors here? Who suffered from that? Jordan Poole came out halfway through the fourth, so it looks like Lee was in for either Wiggins or Curry, and then when Jordan Poole came out, Lee stayed in there. So I don't know if he was just hot-handing it or what. Jordan Poole is another guy I think is worth being a talking point because I only played 25 minutes on opening night, and he was really, really high owned. Now, he was also a little bit cheaper. And the projection kind of got there as a 5x type of play. But now he's 5,200, 5,500. Normally, to really feel like I'm missing out, I probably want 30 plus fantasy points. Projection just keeps giving me a soft 25-ish. So if people hang on to him after opening night, I might think about going the other way on him, just to find some spots to be a little bit different. And Andrew Wiggins is on the south side of 6K on DraftKings. Never a fun play. We're starting to get to some pricing areas where maybe I can get to him, right? This isn't 7K Wiggins, 7,500 Wiggins. It's 5,900 3-game slate Wiggins who, might get 30 minutes. So, yeah. Josh says Bob Meyer said today they tried trading for Bielisa 2 different times last season. So they like him. I definitely think if you think about your idea of peak Warriors productivity, like Nemanja Bjelica is definitely the big that would fit that team, right? Poole's ankle injury kept him out. Bjelica is the truth. Kerr said he went to leave to be safe with Poole's tweaked ankle. So good information, chat. I appreciate that. I do have Lee projected over 20 minutes right now, 3,600 on DraftKings. So if you thought the north side of 20 fantasy points was there for him as a stocking stuffer, go for it. Let's try to make a lineup. So I did say, I feel like I do like the Fanduel pricing a little bit more tonight. But I guess for the sake of, I mean, we got time, right? We can do whatever. F it. I do like Fanduel. So FanDuel, my favorite play on FanDuel is probably Ivica Zubac points per dollar. Give me that. Give me Jordan Nwora. 4,300, absolutely. Chat, are you guys running with Grayson Allen here? Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, coming in still a little, probably too cheap for what their opportunity will be here. Just kind of making a core of value. I would probably want one or the other, Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton. I guess they could coexist, but Zubac and Nwora, man, that gives me a lot to work with here. So I like the way I like the lineups, how my lineups look on FanDuel. Right? If I can get Reggie Jackson at 5K, usually a strong shot at 30. I can get Marcus Morris, also probably a strong shot at 30. Like I really can create a pretty high floor core of players and then kind of rotate the studs in. So I liked how that turned out on FanDuel. And then I also had a nice skeleton lineup on Yahoo. I haven't tried to make a lineup on DK yet. But I guess if we go look at the projections here and sort by greatest value from the soft projections from about, 2 hours ago. If I put my top value plays, Jordan Nwora is at the top, Allen, Zubac again. So the guys I still like on FanDuel are really the top of the list here on DraftKings with the one guy that's probably worth thinking about is George Hill, right? George Hill definitely has a higher bust potential than most of these value guys because he could just be breathing air for 30 minutes and not really being a fantasy contributor. What's your thoughts on Sandro Anthony? Great name, by the way. So I did say earlier that with Brook Lopez out, with Bobby Portis out, the Bucks against the Nets. Nets aren't as big as the Heat are. There's a world where they lean on Sandro to get some run. I put him at 11 minutes. But if you think a couple fouls on Giannis or something like that, next man up. We need some size to match up with Adebayo. There's definitely a world for Sandro to get some run. The thing is, I don't know how to project Sandro's per minute efficiency from a fantasy standpoint. Like, we don't have a lot of NBA sample to work with. We can look at the preseason where he was fine, but if you think that's kind of like your ace in a hole potential play, bare bones mid priced, he has a path to minutes today that maybe he didn't have on opening night. So I think there is a world where he does play 15 plus minutes, but also I don't know if that's valuable to win a tournament. So just kind of wrestling with that. Hopefully some beat writers can start swaying us in terms of what Budenholzer might do here. Julian, Adebayo, Giannis, Luka, Porzingis. Are you just naming people that you like? Do you really love Lamp? Have yet to play Herder on FanDuel. Have to play Herder. Yeah. Like I said, Herder's probably a little too cheap based on what his expected role is on the season for this team. The only I would like to see Lou Williams out to really feel a little bit better. But yeah, I'm fine with that. And then maybe DeLon Wright, 7K DK price tag where you're not even acknowledging his existence. His 4,600 price tag might be a little bit more approachable, right? What up, Sway McThunder? Gun, do you like that new positional flexibility on FanDuel? No, I do not. It is, maybe in my position, it's a little bit more of a headache because I kind of have to, I don't kind of, but I memorize who's eligible for what on DK pretty easily over the last couple of years. And there's some guys on FanDuel who are multi-position eligible that are not the same position eligibility on DK. It makes no sense. They had Tyus Jones as a power forward yesterday. So Giannis is power forward, small forward on FanDuel, and then Giannis is power forward center on DK. So the easy thing to do if you're going to play multiple sites is just trust your projections and let the opto worry about it. But I did a video about it. Essentially, FanDuel just became DraftKings, and the only difference every day is pricing and scoring, right? And it's not really that fun to me. So I'm not a fan of it. I understand why they did it, right? It's a positionless game right now. It is what it is. But from a user experience, and I like to play all the sites, I didn't like it. But it's like, who am I, right? Like, if it makes people not have to play Otto Porter or Dorian Finney-Smith more because they can't get out of the small forward position, then maybe the loyal user on FanDuel appreciates it. But from a guy that likes to play multiple lineups and not to be too heavily leaning on the opto, I didn't really appreciate the change. Which has actually pushed me to playing Yahoo a little bit more, and Yahoo's not like the user experience on Yahoo is not that good, but the lineup construction is a little bit more like old FanDuel for me right now. Is Reddish more expensive than Hunter because we think Reddish will come in and run that second team? I don't know why. Tyler, I don't know if you were here earlier, but this being early in the season, there's a lot of guesswork to be done. And one of the points I had brought up was if you look at Vegas odds for sixth man of the year, The odds-on favorite is Jordan Clarkson, and then tied for second is one Patty Mills, who did really good on opening night, and the second guy is Kevin Huerter. If we look for Cam Reddish, he's not even. Cam Reddish not even on the list. So that leads me to believe that some people that are sharper than me, expect Kevin Huerter to lead the second unit. So my guess is that. So Kevin Huerter 5K on FanDuel sounds a little bit better. Cam Reddish, if Cam Reddish, did take over some point duties, it wouldn't stun me. But just following the sharps here, it looks like the expectation is for Kevin Huerter to be the primary ball handler for that second unit. I like that FanDuel was different. Yeah, man, I appreciated that. And like I said, it's probably more of a scummy thing on my behalf because it was easier to multi-enter. Because it's a lot easier. You could turn FanDuel more into a tiers game where you're just winning the position. And I think when you get to multi-position eligibility, it's going to raise the cash line. It's going to raise first place. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a little less fun for my personal experience. And I can only speak on that. Chat, let's do a plug here. That'll lead us into maybe some PrizePicks plays. Actually, I don't have that ready on this screen, do I? I do not. Well, you guys know the drill. PrizePicks.com. If you guys play on PrizePicks, it's kind of like it's basically prop betting meets fantasy sports. If you haven't tried it, if you would like to try it and sign up using my code, it would absolutely be something I appreciate. It is something that helps support the YouTube channel, helps support the stream. I don't remember what the command was. It's either PrizePicks or PP. I don't know. They have a format. They have you pick a couple of player props, you put them on a card. You gotta have at least two. You can have up to 5, I believe, and you can bet on players to meet or exceed their player projections based on individual stats like real points scored, rebounds, assists, stuff like that. They also have a format where you can bet on their fantasy points, and luckily for us, their fantasy point scoring is mirrored that of FanDuel. So if you're doing some research for your FanDuel lineups, let's say you liked a guy like was DeLon Wright 7K on FanDuel or DK? He was 7K on DraftKings. But anyway, let's say you like a play on FanDuel, but you feel like their price point is not going to be something that you can fit in comfortably. Or a guy that's almost 11K is only projected for 50 points, something like that. And you can't really, you don't think it's a wise move to play him in fantasy, or you just think they're not a good play and you could bet they're under. You can go to prizepicks.com and find more ways to diversify your daily spend and also better reward the research you're already doing. It's a pretty fun format. They have not just NBA, but they have NFL as well. They have golf, college football, MMA. They have esports, CSGO. A little bit of everything, so you can have some fun tonight and have cards that represent some of the NBA games. You can have some Browns and Broncos props. You got a Teddy Bridgewater, Case Keenum, starting running back Dearness Johnson game that you could mix in lineups with Kristaps Porzingis, right? Where else can you do that and have money on Porzingis and Dearness Johnson in the same ticket? So go check them out. It's a lot of fun. If you guys are in the rundfs.com premium community, I do have a player props projection tab that will kind of help you caddy your way through the PrizePicks NBA side of things. I did list points projected, rebounds projected, assists, PRA, points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers made, free throws made, and then of course the fantasy points scored. So for instance, I right now have Luka closer to 60 than 50, and the point projection on him is 50. So theoretically, there's some value in my projection versus the PrizePicks projection. Obviously, 50 is a bold number to bet over on, but it's stuff like that where I think where a lot of our users like to cross-reference and try to find the largest gaps between my projections and the PP projections. So check it out. Use code Gundecker when you sign up. If you do use my code, not only do I get some love, but they will double your first deposit up to $100. So a $20 bill becomes $40, and you can play around, have some fun with it, man. Lots of fun. What up, Crispy? Promo code Gundacker. You love PrizePicks. Yeah, man. I haven't really met a lot of people that have not liked PrizePicks. I mentioned it on, I think it was a stream yesterday. These fly-by-night fantasy sites, they show up, they go out of business because nobody likes their format. All they are is DraftKings Lite or Fanduel Lite. PrizePicks did a really good job of, one, being user-friendly. They got a Discord. They're always doing promotions. The fact that you can mix all the sports together, it's a really a fun product. So and it's also something that can be a companion to the research we're already doing. So I like PrizePicks quite a bit. By the way, if you guys do want access to the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet, I've got one for basketball tonight and also got one for the Showdown slate tonight. And we'll be in that RunDFS.com Discord VIP voice chat. We've got people of all different walks of life, all different bank account levels. And if you guys are looking to continue your DFS grind, man, I definitely welcome you guys, invite you guys to come be part of it. The RunDFS.com VIP Discord, every day before lock, I'm hanging out right here. The NBA chat, voice chat, click on that, listen in, grab a mic, make some friends. It's a lot of fun, fraternal. Good little community we got going on. We did take down that early bird special finally, so if you guys want to maybe try out a week pass, see what you think. These rates are supposed to be up. There is another partnership I got in the works that I'm waiting on to finalize so we can roll out the new graphics and go back to the normal pricing. So for now, you still get discounted pricing. So if you want to try it out, man, now is the time. Go to rundfs.com, get signed up. And then if you have any questions, even if you're new to DFS process-wise, man, DM me. These slow nights like tonight, 3 games, one games, I got time. I got more time than usual to talk through some stuff with you guys. So I don't mind it. Doing that at all, right? I love PP. Chat, where are we at? 90 plus viewers, 30 likes, man. You guys want to show some real love? Hit that thumbs up. Also, if everybody could double check, see if they're subscribed. I've got a goal of 6,000 subscribers by January 1st. And I think this morning I hit 5,400 subscribers. So only 600 subscribers, which sounds like nothing, right? But man, for some reason, I can't get over this 5K hump the last year or so. So if you guys would do me that solid, man, I would definitely appreciate that. Chat, you guys got anything else for me? We got some questions. I got time, man. I'm chilling. I'm kicking. I got my coffee in the Whataburger Yeti cup. Whether it be strategy questions, process questions, tools questions, we definitely got some time to knock some stuff out. Like I said, I think I'm going to end up just really kind of creating a core value, guys, and spinning the wheel, making a deal on the studs. It feels like talking through the slate, the team that we kind of talked the least about and really saw the least reaction from the field feels like the Miami Heat. So does the Miami Heat make sense for tournaments? 7,200 on Kyle Lowry, 8,100 on DK. Jimmy Butler's over 9K on FanDuel, 8,300 on FanDuel though, right? Can we get him over 40? Potentially. And then Bam Adebayo, I guess we can run some rates here. But man, you wonder if you remember yesterday, the Celtics were the absolute stone cold nuts, and I just had no intentions of getting to the Celtics. Could the Heat beat today's Celtics is basically what I'm wondering here, because it feels like no one's excited to play these Miami Heat. So how about we put Jimmy Butler on the court? Let's put Bam Adebayo on the court just out of curiosity and see what we might pull back. I saw some love for Tyler Hero as well earlier. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, a little over a fantasy point per minute on both formats. Nothing staggering, but makes you wonder. The last Knicks fan, man. After tonight, you might have some new coworkers, man. I appreciate that subscription, buddy. I think Hunter will be sneaky tonight. Maybe Hunter and Nwora. I don't think Nwora will be sneaky, but I do think Hunter won't get a ton of ownership. Who are your solid picks for FanDuel? So points per dollar, like not talking about the studs. There's a lot of really good value, I think, at 5K or less. And the names that I like the most: Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, Jordan Nwora, Ivica Zubac. I love those 4 names as a potential value core of players. So yeah, give me those guys. And then I guess it's worth looking up how Reggie Jackson performed last year. I don't know if that we'd have a ton of sample size, but I really think 5K is a little too low for what his floor to ceiling range of outcome can be here. But that would be my core 4 for value: is Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, Ivica Zubac, and Jordan Nwora. And then I also feel like one of Grayson Allen or Pat Connaughton, if not both, probably become pretty solid plays. Let's take Kawhi off the court. Let's take Nick Batum off the court, again, using the AMF tool. What else are we missing? I don't think we're really missing much here. Let's put Reggie on. I guess Patrick Beverly, you could take him off the court. Put Reggie on, take those guys off. I'll also leave Paul George on the court. See if we can feel a little bit better about Reggie Cush. What up, Patrick Reed? You think Adebayo gets a hit with his assists, given Lowry and Butler is going to have the ball handling more? Naturally, yeah. Reggie Jackson's at not as good as I thought it would be. Just a 16% usage rate. They still include Lou. I guess Rondo is somebody we could take off as well. I don't know, man. I had this strong feeling about Reggie earlier. Now I'm kind of wondering. The math here doesn't really check out that well. But I still love Zubac. All the same, and Marcus Morris all the same. Let's answer your question a little bit more mathematically. Patrick, first of all, I appreciate your interaction with the channel. But I guess let's just look at Jimmy Butler and Adebayo on the court at the same time anyway. Because, like, Goran Dragic was a big assist guy too, right? If Lowry is just, a lateral from Dragic in terms of assist rate, I don't think it's that crazy to expect not a drastic change. It is natural to think it goes backwards. With Butler, Adebayo on the court, they both had over a 20% assist rate. I mean, he plays that style of basketball, right? Like, I don't know. I think naturally it makes sense to expect it to go down a little bit, but between pick and rolls and them setting screens, I don't think it's that crazy. I do think today Adebayo probably is going to have his hands full trying to defend Giannis. But I don't know. What are you looking for, some unders or something on assist props? I guess we could look at maybe see if PrizePicks set aligned on assists. I don't know if Adebayo would have a number here. Or maybe prop bets out there. He has 4.5. That's his assist number. And last year he averaged 5.4. So they're giving him one less than his average with Lowry in the mix. I guess that's fair. No play. Oh, Ibaka as well. That's a great point, but I don't think that's huge. No playoff Peef will be the point guard. Yeah, I think he'll run a lot of the ball handling duties. Reggie wasn't trusted to do as much during the regular season. He came on during the postseason. I won't look too much at those numbers. That's fair. I think 5K is a little too much. You should check Herter versus Dallas. I will, but I wouldn't overreact to stuff like that, right? BVP, DVP, DKP by game log versus Mavericks. Let's go last 5 games. We don't really get the full context of stuff like this, but yeah, 40 plus in his last 2 games. That's encouraging. 35, 39 minutes, probably not happening here. We'll see if there was significant absences throughout the lineup. Again, StatMuse is a really fun, great tool, but without context, it can lead you astray. Looking at Herter here, looks like it was this starting lineup that they have today. This Gallinari played 21 minutes. That's very encouraging. I don't think 39 minutes is happening, but that's encouraging. Everyone had a lot of minutes that game, but it looks like it wasn't an OT game. And then the other game, Herder again, 35 minutes, 23 points, 8 rebounds. Anyone significant out? Looks like no. John Collins play, Trae Young play. Hey, well, I guess it's a good sign that Herder has a good history here, but I feel like his ceiling comes at the potential risk of Trae Young, unless everything he does is off of a Trae Young assist, right? What up, R. Stanley? Max Struss, 25% usage. What? Did I see that? It may be like in 2 minutes. 52 minutes, 25.7% usage. That definitely doesn't seem to check out, but you did see that, right? That's crazy. Lorenzo was a lot of injuries for the Clippers, yeah. 315. All right, chat. Here's the plan. I guess I'm gonna start tweaking my projections. In about an hour, I'll be in the RunDFS.com premium Discord, talking some NBA, and then also maybe looking at NFL a little bit. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that excited about NFL tonight, but I will be covering it, and then we'll be back at it tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. That is the time slot. So I would love for you guys to come back tomorrow. I'll try and put up another video probably late tonight with a quick preview of tomorrow's slate. Looking at tomorrow's slate, 2, 4, 6, 8, the 10-game slate. We can't get that groove. It looks like Saturday's the best thing we got going. Saturday, I'll be streaming on the Awesemo channel before lock. So we probably don't do a stream on this channel. But yeah, we'll be back at it tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and then I'll try and put a preview video tonight. And every team should have a little bit of sample to go off of, right? Right? How do you feel about Terrence Mann? He'd just be a punt, man, a tournament dart. Pull Bogdanovich, Hardaway, Herder on Fanduel. Probably Hardaway. Jeez. Those are all pretty tough. Probably Herder, then Hardaway, then Bogdanovich, then Poole. Alright, guys. I appreciate you hanging out as always. I love you guys. I appreciate you making part of my time, be part of your time. I'll see you guys later. Tweet at me if you got anything else for me. Twitter.com/GundackerSports. Otherwise, I'll be in that Discord. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.